The air in that courtroom was heavy, like a thick, damp blanket you couldn't shake off. It smelled of old paper, floor polish, and a kind of stale fear that I guess hangs around places like this. My hands were sweating, clamped together so. Tight in my lap, my knuckles were white. Next to me, my boy Jamal, just 17, sat slumped, looking smaller than I'd ever seen him. His shoulders were rounded, his eyes fixed on the scuffed floor tiles. He was trying to be brave, I knew, but I'm his mama. I could feel the tremor in his leg, even though he pressed it tight against mine. Up on that high bench sat Judge Thompson. He was an older white man, with a face like a clenched fist and eyes that seemed to look right through you. Or worse, look at you and see something you weren't. From the moment we walked in, I felt it, that cold dismissal. When Jamal's name was called, and my boy stood up, all lanky and awkward, trying to pull himself straight, I saw it. A little twitch at the corner of Judge Thompson's mouth. Not a smile, not really, more like a smirk. A tiny, knowing, ugly thing that said, "I've seen your kind before. I know what you are." My heart squeezed. Racist. The words screamed in my head. It wasn't just in my imagination. I'd heard stories about Judge Thompson, whispers in the community, but seeing it directed at my son, my Jamal, who'd never been in trouble a day in his life until this mess. It was like a punch to the gut. Jamal was there because he'd been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Hanging out with some boys from the neighborhood, one of them had shoplifted, and when the store owner came yelling, they all ran. Jamal, bless his honest heart, was the slowest. He didn't take anything. He swore to me, and I believed him. But there he was, charged with aiding and abetting, or some such legal talk. The public defender, a young woman who looked tired but kind, had done her best. She'd spoken about Jamal's good grades, his volunteering at the youth center, the fact he had no prior record. The prosecutor, a sharp-faced man, painted Jamal as a menace, a part of a gang, using words that felt like stones thrown at my boy. Through it all, Judge Thompson just sat there, tapping his pen. Every now and then, his eyes would flick to Jamal, and that little smirk would reappear. It was like he was enjoying this, enjoying the power he had to crush this young black life. I prayed, oh how I prayed, silent, desperate prayers that God would open this man's heart, or at least his eyes. Finally, after what felt like a lifetime, the lawyers finished. The courtroom was quiet, so quiet I could hear the hum of the fluorescent lights, the frantic beat of my own heart. Jamal was looking at me now, his eyes wide with a fear that tore me apart. I tried to give him a reassuring smile, but I think it came out more like a grimace. Judge Thompson cleared his throat. He shuffled some papers, took a slow sip of water. He was drawing it out. I could feel the weight of his gaze on Jamal, even though I wasn't looking directly at him. I couldn't bear to see that smirk again. "Mr. Washington," the judge began, his voice flat, devoid of any warmth. Jamal flinched at his name. "The evidence presented—" He paused, and his eyes swept. Over Jamal, then briefly, chillingly over me. And there it was again. That damn smirk. A little more pronounced this time, as if he'd already made up his mind and was just going through the motions. My stomach dropped. This was it. He was going to throw the book at my boy. I could see. Jamal's dreams, college, a good job, a life, all turning to dust. He picked up a file, Jamal's file, and opened it, though I was sure he knew every word in it by heart already. He glanced down, his finger tracing a line. "Jamal Washington, son of—" He stopped. The silence stretched. It wasn't the same silence as before. This was different. Confused. I risked a look. The smirk was gone. Utterly gone. Judge Thompson's face was blank. Then a flicker of something else. Disbelief? Recognition? He looked up from the file, straight at Jamal. Not with coldness, not with that awful superiority. He looked at him like he was actually seeing him for the first time. His voice, when it came, was softer, almost hesitant. Robert's son. 2 words. Just 2 words. But the air in the courtroom shifted. I swear it was like a window had been thrown open, letting out all that stale, heavy dread. Jamal looked confused. Sir? I was confused too. Robert? My Robert. Jamal's father, who passed away 10 years ago from a heart attack. Too young. What did he have to do with this? Judge Thompson leaned forward. Your father, Robert Washington, worked down at the city garage? Tall man, always had a smile, fixed up old cars in his spare time? My breath caught in my throat. Jamal nodded slowly. Yes, sir. That was my dad. A different kind of silence now. A heavy, thoughtful one. Judge Thompson stared at Jamal, really stared. And then he looked over at me. His eyes, for the first time, held a hint of, was it kindness? Or maybe, just maybe, a touch of shame. I knew Robert, Judge Thompson said, his voice quiet, almost a whisper that still carried through the hushed room. Knew him well years ago. We served together, Army, way back. He paused, a distant look in his eyes. Good man. A damn good man. Saved my hide more than once, truth be told. He looked back down at the file, then up at Jamal again. The hardness was gone from his face. The lines around his mouth seemed softer. He looked older now, but not in a mean way. Just tired and thoughtful. Your father was an honorable man, son, he said to Jamal. One of the best I ever knew. He closed the file. He looked at the prosecutor, then at Jamal's public defender. This charge, given Mr. Washington's record, his character references, and frankly, he paused, looking directly at Jamal. Given the man his father was and the son I hope he's raised, he sighed, a deep, long sigh. This feels excessive. There are better ways for a young man to learn a lesson, if a lesson is even needed here. He looked at Jamal. Young man, you choose your friends more wisely from now on. One mistake, even if it's not yours, can drag you down. Your father worked too hard, was too good a man, for you to throw away your future so carelessly. Jamal just nodded, his eyes glistening. I could see the tears welling up in mine too. Case dismissed, Judge Thompson said, his voice firm now, but without the earlier edge. You're free to go, Mr. Washington. Make your father proud. The gavel came down, a soft thud this time, not a crack of doom. Robert's son. Those 2 words. They hadn't just changed the verdict. They'd changed the man on the bench, right before my eyes. They'd changed the air we breathed. They'd given me back my son. As we walked out, Jamal's hand found mine. His was trembling, but so was mine. Outside, the sun felt brighter, the air fresher. Mom, Jamal said, his voice thick with emotion. Did you know Dad knew him? I shook, my head, tears finally spilling over. No, baby, I had no idea. I don't know if Judge Thompson was truly a racist, deep down. Maybe he was just jaded, worn down by years of seeing the worst of people. Or maybe he was. And for a moment, the memory of a good man, a black man who had once been his friend, his brother in arms, broke through all that prejudice. I don't know. But I know that for us, in that moment, everything changed. It wasn't just about Jamal walking free. It was a tiny, fragile flicker of hope that sometimes, just sometimes, a connection can be stronger than prejudice. That a memory can remind someone of our shared humanity. And that 2 simple words, unexpected and out of the blue, can hold the power to change everything. We were lucky. So very lucky. And I'll never forget that smirk, or the way it vanished when he remembered a man named Robert,